Well, Seebe was actually it was a great place to start a career, and I met a lot of good friends there that I still see today. That was sort of one thing that I really kind of carry on with, and we all kind of retired around the same time, with deregulation coming into early retirement. But it was a nice kind of homey village, people were very friendly. I was single, of course, at the time, and they had a staff house for the single people. But the married people were always inviting you over. I remember, I think it was I was 19 when I started there. I think it was even for my 20th birthday. The one fella and his wife baked a birthday cake for me and invited me over, and it's just that was just the way Seebe was. And there was always dues, always get-togethers. It was a great place to. And the work, I liked the job. I did a lot of different things while I was there, and then kind of branched off into the operations side. Once I sort of figured that what I was going to like, and that then took me to Calgary. So I was in Seebe from 1966 to 1970, and then 1970 I applied for a position in Calgary and operations, and spent the rest of my career there. Oh, well, of course, nowadays there's nothing there. Of course, the town shut down and they moved all the buildings out, and I'm not even sure you can get into the area anymore. But a lot of my friends, though, stayed on in Seebe. And matter of fact, I just talked to one of them the other day, and they had their families there, and the kids went to school there, and then on to Canmore, and they just continued to embrace it. It's just just the way Seebe was. I don't think Seebe ever changed. Like it was just always like a homey town. Yeah, and the people were always friendly. Of course, the Kananaskis plant was right there, and the control center. So the control center that was out at Seebe at the time is the control of the hydro plants, all the hydro plants on the Trans-Elda system, and then the dispatch of the thermal units. So they actually had kind of control over all of the generation on the Trans-Elda system, and some control of voltage control and the high transmission control of the power lines. Yeah, there's quite a few houses. Like there was probably 4 duplexes, and then I'm thinking maybe 12 houses. The schoolhouse was still there when I started there. It was a one-room school, and went up to grade 5 or 6. And then I think the kids bused to Canmore, FCR Canmore. And they had a teacherage, where the teacher lived. And then the staff house, of course. We had a one-sheet curling rink, artificial ice. And so that was kind of the social area of Seebe, was the curling rink in the wintertime. And, we'd have 2 draws a night, and people would congregate around there and kind of visit. And then probably once a month they'd have social activities in the school. And of course, the main occasions like New Year's, and for sure they would have a dance. And they had a local, they had a few people that worked for the company at the time that played instruments. So they were the band. One fellow played the drums, and another one had a saxophone, and one played the guitar, and they were kind of the band for the social functions. So the people who lived at Seebe actually looked after the plants in the Kananaskis Valley, and they also looked after then the Kananaskis plant, and the Horseshoe plant was a kilometer or 2 down the road, going east of the Seebe plant. And at the time when I worked there, you had to live in the area of the plants that you worked in. So the plants at Canmore, as an example, the staff that looked after those plants lived up at Spray, up on top of the mountain, halfway up the mountain. And the people who looked after the Ghost plant lived at Ghost, right at the plant. And then the Bear's Paw plant, they could live in Bowness, was close enough to. So probably 15 or 20 people lived in Seebe while I was living there. And that would have been, so the operations side, so there would be probably 10 in the control center. And then there would be probably 5 or 6 maintenance people, and then there would be 5 or 6 technical operators that actually sort of looked after the controls and everything of the signals from the plants to the control center.